What's up, y'all? It's Sarah Kate here with Billy Scott Real Estate, back for another podcast episode. Um, Today we were listen, we could talk about real estate like all day.
Listen.
Listen, Linda, we could talk about real estate all day and talk about the things that we're passionate about. But we also don't talk a ton about, or really see a lot of other people talk about what agents don't tell you about behind the scenes,
Yeah.
right? Of what we go through, of personally what we're learning and what we're developing in, and some of the hard things that we don't post on social media. But before we do that, I'm going to show you guys just to start it out. Because you guys, I like to throw Billy off a little bit, ask him about ice cream cones. And I feel like I've asked you, what your go-to karaoke song is or whatever.
Right.
I'm going to show you what a hardworking agent's chair should look like, okay? Here you go. We're going to put it on the screen, and then you can see it.
Oh, dear.
That is what a hardworking agent's chair should look like. Exhausted, on its back, literally can't even sit up. That's what it should look like.
So give us some feedback. Why do you think the chair is in that position?
Dude, he's exhausted. I was like, Billy has just floored this chair. He worked it so hard. You're like, it's done.
A few too many of these.
Oh, man. Oh, my God. It was so funny. I looked over. I sent a picture to my husband. I looked over and I was like, what the? Just laying down.
She gone. She broke.
She gone. Anyway, we need a big old Billy Scott ranch style chair. I don't know. I want something cool. We got to get something cool.
We're going to up the weight capacity, and we're going to make sure the hour ratings are a little stronger on this bad boy.
Yeah. Billy goes, I need a 6 to 8 hour chair. And I was like, it is a 6 to 8 hour chair.
Like, well, 10 to 12 then.
It's too
Love
much.
it.
All right. Well, there's some behind the scenes on what life is really like in the office. What people don't talk about.
So what agents don't tell you? So what do we got up our sleeve today, Sarah?
I kind of want to talk about, we've shared a lot about, to an extent, like last year, that being kind of our first year in the industry together, and your first year on your own and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there were some tough things that you've kind of hinted at that kind of happened last year. And, but I'm curious, like, if you could recap last year with like a word, is there a word that comes to your mind that describes your year from last year of just being in the industry and everything that we went through? Is there anything that comes to mind?
Honestly, I think the word is still surreal.
Yeah.
When I think of, if I get in the weeds and focus too much on the negative or the, obstacles that we had to overcome, I could just get caught up in it. But then I think of all the positive things that happen in our business and in life and in our relationships with clients, and like the different successes of it, of helping as many families as we did.
Mm-hmm.
It's glass half full, glass half empty.
Yeah.
But when you look at it as a whole, it's like we broke off on our own last March. We partnered up together shortly after.
Mm-hmm.
We invested in our business, and we just wanted to help and serve clients. And it came with trial and error. It came with struggles. It came with success. It came with a lot of good. It came with excitement. Like,
Yep.
I love what I do. I was asked last night at my mom's on Easter, and she just says, are you liking what you're doing? It's like, liking? like there's no sugarcoat. I love it. I love it. But it comes with its struggles.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that, when you said, hey, let's talk about some of the things behind the scenes that nobody really wants to talk about, because Facebook, everybody wants to be perfect.
Yeah.
And the most perfect postings get the least traction, generally speaking.
Or how about agents posting about some struggles that they're having in their business? They don't wanna talk about it because then maybe people won't wanna use them,
Yep. Yep.
right?
We have a different approach towards it.
Yeah,
We wanna talk about some of the things that were struggles,
yeah,
that were obstacles, but they're learning opportunities.
yeah.
And every one of those, it may be hard, it may not be easy, but it makes us better
Yep,
and it makes us more well-rounded, it makes us more educated.
yep.
So, I'm in agreement. Let's
Mhm.
talk about some of
Yeah,
the real, the raw, the ugly, and, some of the stuff that's not so glamorous,
yeah.
because I think some people need to see the ugly side
Mhm.
of the industry, and it's as ugly as you wanna make it.
Yeah,
But in the end, I am so honored to be in real estate and to get to deal with the amount of agents I've got to deal with the last couple of years in the industry and
yeah,
to meet all the people and from reviewing brokers to principal brokers to recruiters to just solo agents, mega teams, like
mhm.
all the different trainers and mentors and coaches and the inspector side of the industry, the title side of the industry, the
Yeah,
lending side of the there's so many relationships that just keep, spanning out.
yeah.
It's endless and I love it. So, yes, doesn't mean it's easy. Yes, it's came with trial and error, but
It's still surreal.
it's still surreal. Like
Yeah.
there's still so much to smile about and to be grateful for.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah.
Some of it's not glamorous.
Doesn't mean that it's easy at all. Well, I think just jumping into it, like, first off, we had a really good gear last year. I mean,
Yeah.
for coming in, like, basically at the end of the first quarter and jumping in on your own, bringing me on green as a sprout. Are you kidding me?
And I was just as green.
Yeah, yeah. And jumping in and, I think our heart is just to help people. Like, we will dig deep, we will learn whatever we need to do, however we need to be better, whatever we need to grind at, whatever it is, like, we're gonna figure it out because we know we can help people because we care so much about
Yep.
people. And I love it because it's like, we talk about this all the time. If you hire somebody who knows everything, that's awesome. But if they don't have the heart, you can't teach that. But when you have people who have the heart and the willpower, they can go get those skills,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And I think that's a really great trait of ours. Like, we really do. Like, we just love people so much and in every capacity, not just real estate.
Right.
Like the way that you want to go above and beyond for people, not just clients, people.
Yeah.
It's just who we are. Like, there's, in a sense, like, nothing special about it because it's just who we are, but it
Yeah.
is special.
Yep.
Um, but and at the same time, last year was really great, but we are still learning. But it doesn't matter if you've been in the industry 10 years, you are still learning different things,
Yep.
right? At a different level.
Yep.
But we had some tough things that we had to learn last year. Um, and also kind of came down to like a really dry winter.
Yep. Yep.
um, and some of it wasn't our fault, but like, it's still an experience and things that we had to learn and go through. That we still could learn and go through again, right? Just it's just how the industry is. But talk about how our winter was coming out of our amazing summer. Helped so many people.
Yeah.
Like, we had still had such a great year. Um, but then we kind of entered the late fall winter and it was kind of non-existent. Talk
Yeah.
about that.
Okay. No, it's good thing to bring up. So last year we closed 35 deals
Yeah.
and we sold over $15 million in property
Mhm.
to clients, helped them buy or sell.
Mhm.
Which that was my first year on my own, 9 months out of the year.
Yeah.
Um, my second year in the industry.
Yeah.
You were in a brand new role right when you came on board.
Mhm.
I was in a new role of understanding, learning how to be a solo agent, learning how to
Right.
run a team,
Yeah.
a team of just myself and you. But then
Mhm.
we hired a virtual assistant, late summer, and we had coaches along the way.
Yeah.
And you think of the it's easy to talk about the success,
Mhm.
but where we learn the most is with those growing opportunities
Yeah.
that stick, and it's like, that was a tough lesson.
Mhm.
And like you said, like, every one of those deals, so we had a point where there was a 5-month stretch, like mid-October to mid-March, or late October, late March. We hit a 5-month stretch where we had 10 different deals under contract, and 9 of them fell out,
Mhm.
5 of them being in December.
Mhm.
That was drastic because there was so much success and so much momentum through the summer and into the fall, and all of a sudden, it just died.
Yeah.
And everybody said, "Prepare for winter,
Right.
prepare for slowdowns,
Yeah.
don't count your chickens before they hatch," kinda thing.
It was a screeching halt.
Right, and it was like, "Oh, it'll come around, it'll come around." It's like,
Yeah.
"No, no, that one's gonna hit the close, no, we're gonna hit the closing table on
Yeah.
that one. No, that one, we're gonna be good to go. We've
Yeah.
worked through inspections." Some of it, appraisals come back and you can't come to
Yeah.
a agreed price. The appraisal's too low, whatever it may be, whether it's buyers or sellers. Sometimes buyers, and this was multiple buyers,
Mhm.
didn't get the clear to close for financing by the time they're ready to hit the closing table.
Mhm.
So that stings. No matter, we're not their lender,
Mm-mm.
we're not doing their financials, but we're fighting for them. And it doesn't matter. It's not a finger pointing game. It's, I've got a job to be an agent. The lender's got a job to make sure that they can, finance the loan, and that they've got the right buyer in place.
Yeah.
The selling agent's got a job to be able to sell the home for as much value for their clients and find a win-win for buyers and sellers. Um, inspector's got a job to find
Mhm.
what's wrong with the house and is it a good solid house for them to purchase.
Yeah.
Buyers want the best deal for the least amount of money,
Mhm.
um, for a good, strong investment into their place.
Mhm.
But the buyer's financials is something that's out of the agent's control.
Yeah.
And that's one that's tough because you can get so far into the deal and a buyer being denied their loan, especially when it's coming up on the last week, the clear to close.
Mhm.
That means they were already pre approved, but it was close,
Mhm.
and possibly spending, less money was made during that time after the final reinspection or the final, credit pull, credit to incomes change, or maybe buyers are spending too much money, not enough money in the account based on what the loan was approved for. There's many, many opportunities. But I joke with clients and say, remember, when you're buying a home, you can't afford coffee.
Yeah.
And I mean
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not a dig. It's,
No.
when you were approved, like, you got some tight parameters of why you're approved and what you're gonna need to do. You said you had this much in your account, you said you had this much available for down, and you said you make this much on your, monthly paycheck. That needs to stay consistent. If you've got an opportunity to work overtime during this time, do it.
Yeah.
Showing more revenue is better than showing less. Well, it's a slowdown time of year. Well, your loan just changed.
Right.
Now you were right on the verge of being financeable to turning around and going, "No, you're not getting the clear to close."
Mhm.
So all those things are facets. So I'm not talking about
Yeah.
one incident. There was multiples with
Yeah.
multiple buyers where things fell through, and it's tough because to grow, you have to take ownership and find ways, where can we grow? What
Mhm.
could we have done differently?
Mhm.
And walking side by side clients on the financials, but also walking that fine line of, my job is to be the agent and represent and fight for them, but also make sure they're partnered with the right lenders to make sure that they were walking beside them because they're dealing with their financials with them. So there's different learning opportunities
Yeah.
in each step where we want to go, okay, throw half of it and throw it out. The other half, how can we do better at this, or how can
Yeah.
we do better at that? And taking ownership is always something that I've been,
Mhm.
um it's important to me.
Mhm.
Like, if somebody drops the ball, take ownership, let's take our licks,
Yeah.
and let's move on and let's grow from it. What are we gonna do differently moving forward?
Mhm.
How are we gonna handle it?
Yeah.
So, I have to do that as well. As we're growing, we barely hit 2 years in the industry, there's so much more to learn. And I love it when I meet 20 or 30-year agents who are
Mhm.
just like, no deal's the same, and I continue to learn each day, which is
Yeah,
awesome
yeah.
because you don't hear that as often with experienced veteran agents. A lot of times it's like, I've been doing this 20 years, and let me tell you why you're gonna do things different.
Yeah.
All right.
Alright. Well, and also something too that I feel like we learned about being on the highs of highs with clients,
Yeah.
getting them to the closing table, experiencing I think of one client and they post a video of, like, being at their new property and just the kids running the dogs. I mean, it was just like, ugh, it makes you
Yes.
feel so good.
Yes.
And then to be the polar opposite of experiencing devastation for your clients.
Mhm.
Even even though the financing is out of our control at that extent, it still sucks. I mean, just the things that your clients were so hopeful about. They were so excited, they're almost there.
Yep.
They're getting through the process. We're walking them through. They got all these people supporting them. And not only is it our clients, but it's the other agents' clients. And the other people, when you've got we were talking about this, when you have somebody who's selling and they're going to buy, and somebody's buying their house, and then they're buying this house, and we're helping sell that one, and our sellers are buying. And
Yep.
I mean, it's just everything's compounded. You have so many people that are trying to move forward. And when things just don't pan out, so much I mean, the only word I can really describe it as is it's just devastating.
It's heartache.
I mean, to everybody, no matter whose fault it is, no matter what they should have done differently, it sucks, on all sides of it. And so even greater than, us doing a lot of work and not getting paid for it, which is the real reality of being commission based, like, a lot of those deals, like, you spent, you spent years on, and
A
then
long
and
time.
and then, yeah, like, months and months and months that you just didn't get paid for
Yep.
on those. So, that's the reality, but, like, and I don't I don't wanna sit up here either and be like, "Oh, poor us, we had 9 fall out and we didn't get paid." It's like, "Okay, well,"
Yep.
we know the industry we're in. It's still a reality though, like, it sucks. Being commission-based is not easy.
Yeah.
I'm not. I just get to sit here and watch Billy. I still get a check, but I
As long
see.
as I sell homes.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like, my check is still dependent on if you get paid though.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, even though I am, paid every month and I'm on a salary, it's still like, I know when money's not coming in, it's like, okay.
Mhm.
Right? Like, my
Yep.
money's still dependent on that. So, like, we need to make sure, like, we're
Yep.
closing stuff, right?
Yep.
So, you know, I I I I experience it in a different way
Yeah.
than what you do, obviously, and being fully commission based and you having employees to pay, like, you carry the brunt of that stress and the burden of that.
Yeah.
Um, but heavy is the head that wears the crown, right?
Yep.
um,
Yep.
but what was that like for you? Because actually, looking back, I mean, from my perspective, I don't think we realized it till, like, after, like, we hit 2025, then it was like, "Oh," like, I feel like late January, then all of a sudden it was like, "Whoa," and I started realizing, like, the wind taken out of your sails and, like, in just in our team in general, like, it was weird. It
Yeah.
was very weird coming from where we had been and just the high of just everything, and then
Yep.
kinda like, "Whoa," like,
Yeah. No, and I would agree, and I didn't think I realized it either because I'm a very confident person.
yeah,
I wake
and
up pretty
positive.
happy
Yeah.
go lucky. I usually can be pretty positive and just,
Mhm.
you know, we got work to do and we got things to do and people to help and
Yeah,
life's good. Like I'm pretty happy go lucky, but
yeah.
uh it it did a toll on me in a sense that I didn't realize how mentally exhausting it was where I devoted so much time to multiple clients to find ways to make things work and make sacrifices and do different things and then to see deal fall apart and deal fall apart and deal fall apart and just the letdown, even if it's out of your control,
Yeah.
you just feel for them, like, your heart breaks for they wanted to get in their first time home, or they wanted to purchase that family compound, and so many moving parts, and it just didn't work out, and when you see that, at that point, you don't think about well, I'm not gonna get paid.
Mm.
It's like the last thing on your mind.
Yeah.
It's in the back of your mind,
Mhm.
but literally it's just like, "Oh my gosh, if I were purchasing a home and it fell through at the end," it's like, how do you show empathy
Yeah.
and show for your clients of like, this is this is hard on everybody, but I can only imagine this was your big sacrifice. This was for your family's,
Yeah.
next step. Like it's
Yep.
just it breaks your heart. And then to find out when you have people that always want to point the finger or blame,
Yep.
and that's just part of the industry. You got
Yep.
it. Um, I think that one took a toll on me more
Mhm.
when they don't see all the things you're doing to help families
Yeah.
in general. And then it's like you can't force grown adults to take ownership.
No.
You're only in control of your own ship
Right.
and the decisions you make,
Mhm.
and you're the one that has to live with them.
Yeah.
But that was one of those moments where I thought, "Man, do they know, like, everything I'm doing for them, or
Mhm.
do they understand, like, the sacrifice we make?" And
Yeah.
I joke that
They don't.
I'm a I'm a community service, you know? I do a whole lot of community service, and once in a while we get paid
Yeah. Yeah.
because there's so much stuff that you pay it forward, you pay
Yeah.
it forward,
Yeah.
and a lot of it, there's nothing in return. You do it out of the goodness of your heart, and you try to go the extra mile
Mhm.
for clients, and once in a while you get paid. And yeah, like my job is to go work hard. You're not getting paid until
Yeah.
you get to the closing table, whether it's for a buyer or a seller, whatever. But,
Yeah.
when you look at national stats, it's like, say I'm going to list 4 homes. I'm going to put all the money in. It's about $4,000, give or take the cost of the listing to
Mhm.
do all your photos, your videos, some of your overhead, your marketing. Before you've even put the home live on the market, you're at about $4,000, just give or take.
Yeah.
Well, 3 out of 4 close on average. Well, now you've got
Yeah.
$16,000 into 4 listings to roll them out, to put them on the MLS, and
Mm.
statistically, you're not gonna sell one of them.
Mm-mm.
So then take an overpriced listing that the home is not worth it and try to work with sellers to educate them about the market and, you know, every time we're not getting showings, every week that we're not getting showings, we need to adjust the price or give them feedback on showing feedback. What are people saying when they tour your property or your home? Are we keeping our clients educated and
Yeah.
informing them? What do we need to do? How do we need to shift? How do
Yeah.
we stay in front and not let days on market kill us?
Yeah.
And just where we have to chase the number down because we started way too high.
Right.
Overpriced listings are bad news 99% of the time.
Mhm.
Everybody wants to get the seller more money,
Ugh, yeah.
but you've got to do it within the market and
Mhm.
what the market can bear.
Mhm.
And you've got to stay current and watch because it's a constantly shifting market.
Yeah.
Um, so I think there's a lot of positives to come out of, the 9 out of 10 that fell out. There's a lot of good learning opportunities and ownership opportunities.
Sure.
And a lot of those clients are still our clients, and we've already found them other properties,
Yeah.
or, helping them find this summer, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So it's not just like, oh my gosh, business is upside down, but the momentum when we had such good success early
It's
on,
so true.
and then
Mhm.
all of a sudden
It
it
was
just
weird.
took the wind out.
Yeah.
And it was like, Sarah, I think this stuff is absorbing my drive more than I thought.
Mhm.
And we went to a training in November, down in Scottsdale, then another one in January, the Jeff Glover Summit. And man, we just love what they stand for. We
Mhm.
love the coaches that they have,
Mhm.
the people on their staff, the way they do business, their
Yeah.
growth model, like, they're just so encouraging, and people are starting to see, man, these are the lead, like, yeah, they are the absolute leaders, and they're in the trenches every day with us.
Mhm.
Um, so they're big over on, Detroit area, but they're growing. Their whole platform's growing
Yeah.
across the country, and people are starting to follow them and realize they have so much to offer. But in January at that summit, it kind of re-engaged me to refocus on, hey, like, we ain't got time to worry about the what ifs and all this. Like, we've still got clients that need our help. We're moving forward. Spring is going to be here before we know it. Are you ready? Are you keeping in contact with your clients? And what are you doing to focus on growth and how to grow your business and to be successful?
Yeah.
And at that point, it just kind of got to the point where it's like it was a mindset shift, and I signed up for Sales Rocket Coaching,
Mhm.
which is with Jeff Glover and his team, coaches Lee and
Mhm.
Matt. Like the guys have been great.
Yeah.
And here we are, fast forward, we're in week 11 of a 12-week training, twice a week, 6 a.m. I love it. Like Thursday, Monday and Thursday mornings, like an
Yep.
hour of Zoom calls with different agents across the
Yep.
country that sign up, and you get in the weeds about what's going on in business, what are some of the strategies, what can we do better, how can we learn from others, and how can we apply what they're training, and then get real granular with it.
Mhm.
How do we implement it? How do
Yeah.
we do it?
Yeah. And
Um,
they do that at such a high level.
yep,
I mean, just getting in the weeds of everything and giving you the playbooks. It's like, ugh, it's
totally.
phenomenal. Yeah.
Yep,
I think that kind of looking back, I think that was super encouraging for you.
yeah,
Um, to be around those people that are like, "Hey man, yeah, we get it. Like it's tough, but like here we go, you know.
yep,
We can only move forward now, right? How are we going to learn from it? How are we going to grow? Have your 5-minute funeral because it does suck. And
mm,
and and we are human, like we're not robots. Like
yeah,
we feel stuff. Like you
yep.
you always say what I say. Your feelings are validated. Because they
Yeah,
are. Like, your feelings are validated. Doesn't mean that how you feel is necessarily, no, people are going to hate that, but our feelings aren't necessarily always true for how we should live every day in that sense.
mhm,
Like, if we're just going to sit here and, be negative and complain and, feel down on ourselves, it's like, okay, well, that's how you feel. But there's a lot of other people out there that need help.
yep,
And we can't just sit and have a pity party about it,
yep,
right? Um, be human, be real,
mhm,
express how you feel, and then we gotta keep going. Like life doesn't stop, and there's so much more to do. But I think like our coach, we've talked about Chase, Coach Chase. I think he helped a lot too, because like he could tell like the momentum was like, where is it?
yeah,
You know? Um and yeah, and it was rough, but talk about it like somebody else who's in the trenches just kind of bearing with us, as
mhm,
we're just struggling like to connect with people and, just in our roles, like it was weird. It was definitely kind of a shift of like adjustment from what we were used to. But well, talk about though now, like this first quarter, coming out of that, it kind of was slow and steady in my opinion, and then all of a sudden we really ramped up.
yeah,
Like everything started blooming in the world, like and all of a sudden business just like picked up, and I was like, "Oh, spring's here! Like here we go."
yeah.
Yeah,
And that kinda started back, I started the Sales Rocket coaching at the beginning of February,
yeah,
and, uh, during January, our coach Chase pretty much said, "Billy, we're not setting appointments.
yeah,
So what is getting in the way of setting appointments?"
yeah,
And it was kinda like I fed him "Well, like, I'm busy. I got a lot of stuff going on,
yeah,
and, I'm going here, and I'm meeting this person, I'm meeting this person," or like, we're doing some follow-ups here," and, it was like, I'm working long days, I'm working long hours, I'm working all the time, but I wasn't working on where I need to be focusing,
mhm,
and you have to get in front of people to set appointments.
yeah,
And by setting appointments, we mean who is looking at buying or selling in the next year,
yeah,
and how can we help them? What can
yep,
we do to get them on the right path, to
yep,
make sure they're educated, to make sure they're justified, the direction they're going to head.
yeah,
And instead of just like being in front of others without a purpose is just spinning your wheels.
yeah,
You're putting in all this time, but you're not really getting anything done
yeah,
in a sense. He was a lot more gentle about it, but it was just like, no, I get it. Like I'm just, he's like, so what do we got to do to get these appointments? How do we got to look at this and say, how can we do this? How can we start getting appointments? Because once you get appointments, it leads to,
mhm,
you get buyers or you get sellers. And once you get listings, then you get more marketing and exposure. And it's just that trickle effect. And then you start
right,
gaining traction.
yeah,
And it was like I had to re kind of group in a sense of we pay our coach to tell us things we don't wanna hear.
It's true.
We pay him to mentor us and coach us and
Yeah.
see things that we're not seeing through our set of goggles
Yeah.
and to see things differently and think differently.
Yeah.
And that's what Chase did. And then compounded with some of the sales rocket training that I'm doing,
Yeah.
how to start implementing some of the things I'm doing, or
Yeah.
learn how to door knock better with efficiency, or how to hold different conversations and not let a 5-minute conversation be 45. I don't know that we're ever going to perfect it,
Yeah, you
but
and I are still trying to work on our morning meeting not being 45 minutes.
right, right, exactly, or an hour and a half.
It's so hard. It's like, I know.
Yeah.
But we're growing. It's
Yep.
okay.
But no, you're right. Like, to focus on the positive and not just dwell on the negative and what happened. Um, there's so many positives to think about where we were last year,
Yeah.
watching some of our growth.
Yeah.
You know, here in a couple weeks, we're coming up on 1 year since you
Yeah.
joined the team,
Yeah.
and it's just it's surreal.
Yeah.
I still think it's surreal because we got to help so many people, but we got to have so many learning opportunities
Yeah.
and grow. But here we are, we're headed out of winter, and we're ramping up for the spring summer market, and it's getting hot.
Yeah.
And if you watch the news, you're going to hear everything opposite for the
Mhm.
most part.
Mhm.
You know, the world's crashing, and yes, we got a whole lot of turmoil going on in the world. I'm
Yeah.
not here to talk politics,
Yeah.
religion, any of it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is we still got life to live each and every day,
Yeah.
and there's still clients that need our help,
Yeah.
whether they're buying or selling or investing,
Yeah.
and the world still goes round and round.
Yeah.
So, um, we don't have time to worry about the things we can't change.
We only have today.
Yep.
Yeah.
But when we talk about traction and momentum, a few weeks ago, we got to the point where we had 14 clients under contract.
Yeah.
And it went from having 1 or 2 and gaining a little traction
Mhm.
to 5 to 8,
Mhm.
to 10 to 12 to
Mhm.
14. It's just it's surreal. And that's where we want to stay. We want to continue adding more people that we're helping and getting more to the closing table, and helping more people and getting more to the closing
Yeah.
table. Because all the efforts are for nothing
Yeah.
if you can't get a buyer or seller to the closing
Right.
table.
And this is another thing that I feel like people don't like real estate agents don't really like talking about this because they don't want people to take this the wrong way.
Mhm.
Because we use these terms all the time, like lead gen and calling people and door knocking and it can kind of sound right salesy. Like I like what Jeff says. He's like, well, we are salespeople. Like you're hiring us to sell your house. I am a salesperson,
Mm.
right? But we never talk about it like, oh, we're just trying to find the next deal. Like, it's never like that. It's we are running a business, but it truly does come from like, who else out there can we help?
Who needs our help?
And
Who
like
can we help?
that win-win of like, really, who do we partner with?
Yep.
Like, who can we help them get into their first home, sell the home, move where they got to go, whatever it is, and get them onto their next thing. And it also helps us build our business and helps build our skills. Like it is a partnership. So I never want people to think like when we talk about more the agent terminology of things that we approach it as if it's like, oh, we're just trying to find the next leads. Like, no, no, no. Like literally you went door knocking and in a neighborhood that we have a house for sale. And if you wouldn't have done that, and you're so good about it, like you're not selling anything, you're providing value, which
Yep.
is so true. Um, and you got to meet an amazing person that we would not have gotten to meet
Yep.
if you hadn't have been door knocking.
Yep.
And that's the kind of stuff that like I love that. And now we're getting to help that person. We never would have been able to. They would have probably listed their house with somebody else. We never would have even known. And it would have been right next door to one of our listings.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And we never would have known. So I think more of it is like there are people who need help, but they don't know you.
Mm.
Like you have to put yourself out there.
Yep.
And the great thing about you is that you're not scared to do it. Right. And if people don't want your help, that's totally okay too. Like, it's okay. Like, we're not here to be pushy
When
salespeople.
I think they're making the wrong decision,
I mean,
but
yeah, we're pretty awesome. Come on. I got some cool stuff to give away
Yeah.
too. Like I got these seller guides and like you want one.
Yep, that's right, that's right.
We spent a lot of time developing. They're very pretty.
Yep, yep, Sarah wouldn't have it any other way.
That's like my favorite thing. We took the Glover U script book, and no, I hate on them. I just wanted it in our brand, just for Billy. And I put it and printed it off, and I was like, yeah, but Billy, it's pretty. I was like, it's very important to me. It needs to look good.
Yep,
Um,
exactly.
but yeah, so anyway, I wanted to say that because I don't know. I just think sometimes people can take it the wrong way.
Yeah,
And I don't ever want people to think that we're just after a check or
yep,
we just see people as a number or a dollar sign or whatever.
yep.
Like,
There's a whole lot of paying forward
yeah,
before it ever comes to a check,
yeah,
like months and months.
yeah. Like, and we invest the time and the energy knowing that there's a possibility that we might not even get paid.
Yep,
Like it's just how it is. But we give it our all and we don't live in fear over it.
yep,
Like you show up and you help those people, regardless of the outcome. If it turns out good in a check form, that's always nice
yeah,
because we are running a business. Like,
yeah,
hello, like we also do have families and people we're supporting. Like we're building our lives. Like, and that's why I say like I like to look at it as a partnership.
yep. And
Um,
it's, you know, without earning a living, we can't go give back to the community like we
no,
do.
no,
Whether it's helping support some of the Benton County 4-H program, or we helped kids in 6 different counties last year
yeah,
for 4-H.
yeah,
Helping different ball teams or ball clubs or sponsoring yearbooks and different things.
yeah,
So I get a lot of enjoyment out of being able to go do that.
yeah,
It's something, giving back is part of what we do.
yeah,
Sometimes it's with time, sometimes it's with marketing, sometimes it's
yeah.
financial, but being a part and being involved in our communities, all this is allowing these opportunities to be able to do it.
It does. Yeah,
So,
you wouldn't be able to otherwise. Something else I feel like maybe people don't talk about either. When you're a team and like we're working together every day and then we go through time period where like business is kind of slow, we definitely took some punches of different things that happened and it was rough.
yeah.
Um how you deal with that as a team, right? How you and I handle that together, how we support each other through that. I think, you know, it was kind of tough
Mhm.
in a sense, right? Because we're also human. We're also just very real with each other, right? So it's
Yep.
like, you always say like we operate with a level of respect no matter what's going on, but we also hold space for realness and rawness of, just being human beings. And our office is a safe space for anybody, right? Including us. And so, that part was hard too. Like, and not realizing how much it was affecting us, like, because really what it was is like, I'm a super sensitive person in the sense of like when I'm around people, like I know like something's heavy or something's going on,
Yeah.
like I feel it. And so even though like it isn't my business, although I love it like it is my own,
Yep.
um, I could feel like the not stress, but just the heaviness
Yeah.
that you were kind of carrying with it. I think wind out of your sails was the perfect way to say it.
Yeah.
But to kind of help each other, like how can I support you? Like let's keep going, let's build this back up.
Yeah.
I think we're in a really good spot now. Um and it's like I love what you always talk about. Like it's not the wins that teach you, it's the losses. So true. Like the hard things that we go through, the things we have to learn, like we learn the most when things don't go right.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
It's true. Whether it's in real estate or fighting,
Oh my
they're both
god.
true.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I didn't
Um,
I didn't I didn't learn anything when I won, but when I lost a fight,
yeah,
there's definitely something to take from it.
yeah. It brings out some stuff, right? And I think you and I both had that. I mean, one of the big things too that we're working on right now, like you have a lot of people around you, including myself, whose heart is to give you back more time with your family. And that's so important to me because I know how much you work and I know how much time you're spending. And yeah, we're not the most efficient with our time yet, but we're working on it. Listen, we're always trying to be better, but like that's super important. And so part of that, like Chase is helping us with, is like, I need to be leveraging some things off of me onto Belle, who's we don't talk about her a lot, but she's our assistant and she's in the Philippines and she's absolutely amazing and I love her.
She's a rock star.
Oh my gosh, yes, she's incredible.
Yep.
So anyway, so she, me leveraging some stuff off to her so that I can take more on from you. Once things, we get contracts signed and things kind of go under contract, like me taking things off of your plate that I can help with, right? Doesn't take away your role or your connection with the clients
Yeah.
by any means. You are still there for them 110%.
Yep.
So that you can go focus on new people who need your energy and attention. We're definitely like that's been a whole learning curve. But
Yeah.
still, like we're in it. It's not like we're not on the other side.
Yeah, but think of where we were 12 months ago
Yeah.
or 11 months ago.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at some of the templates that you rolled out last summer and you're like, oh my gosh, those
Do
look
not
terrible.
go scroll through our Facebook page.
And it's like,
It's
Sarah,
so embarrassing.
it's terrible to you because of the amount of progression you've made and your
Yeah.
standard.
Yeah.
But to most people, it's great.
Yeah. My standard rises faster than I can reach it.
And that's
It's really frustrating.
yeah, right? So, but it's always being willing to slow down like we talked about. We've got to slow down and smell the roses at times because we do keep upping our expectations and upping our standards.
Yeah.
And what did we talk about in that slogan last week? Like,
Yeah.
is it the level of excellence is our standard?
Oh,
Or
exceeding expectations is our standard.
exceeding
Yeah.
expectations is our standard. And that's
Yeah.
something that's in our mission, vision, values. And it's something that we strongly believe in and we're proud of, but it's like, we've got to remind ourselves we can't always think the next best thing. Like we've got to have.
Because it's also exhausting.
Mhm.
Like that was something that like, I like get decision fatigue a little bit, I think, because like we're creating so much and there's so many things we can do, like
Mhm.
so many options and just like, I mean, whatever you want, you go for it. It's awesome. But it's also like overwhelming because it's like, well, what way do we go? Like, what do we focus on? Like, what's our priority? Or like, and you want everything now, right? Like I just want it done. I've had to really adapt the idea of living documents, right? Or the business is living. It's not like you just set it up and hit go and nothing else happens.
Yeah.
Like it's just where it's supposed to be. No.
Constantly changing.
It's constantly changing and growing and evolving because businesses are run by people.
Yep.
And because businesses are always evolving and the world is always changing and we're always changing, you can't expect like it just to be like,
Yep.
and that's hard because it's like, Billy, I just want to make the buyer's guide and never touch it again. Right?
Well.
Check it off. It's done. No, they're living. And that's I live in that perfectionist mindset where like, well, if I get it perfect, I don't ever have to deal with it again.
And I live in the realist mindset of every transaction, we're going to find something that we could have been doing better.
Yeah.
Whether it's in our guides or whether it's, part of the transaction, contract to close, like everything, but it's ever changing.
Yes.
And in 5 years, when you got it really down, the market's ever changing too. So we're shifting and we always have to adapt or die.
Yeah.
So
it's so true. But I think we're doing a really good job right now of another belief that we have is awareness is power.
Yeah.
When I find out something that I'm not aware of, I'm like floored, like about myself or like what the way I'm doing things or whatever. Like I'm just like, oh, that's why. Okay.
Yep.
It's just wild when you really kind of lay your pride at the door and you allow awareness to kind of enter in to your space and allow that from the people you're working with and people who are coaching you. It's like, okay, nobody's telling me this to beat me up about it. They're telling me this because they see the potential and the growth in me, right? And the growth mindset that we have, it's like we want to encourage that out of people. We point things out of love, right?
Yep.
Um, but I feel like for you, kind of, man, like coming into, let's see, second quarter here, um, coming from having 9 fallout to then whiplash, 14 under contract.
Yeah.
It's literally a roller coaster, right? We talk about that. It's like, oh yeah, so go
Mhm.
like a flip upside down and backwards
Yep.
and whatever. And sometimes I feel like we're stopped upside down and it's like, what is going on right now? This is so annoying.
Yeah.
But what do you feel like? What do you feel like the trajectory we're on right now, the things that we've come through in this past year, um, what are you most excited about for where we're heading right now, like, and what we're working on?
We're gonna be more prepared to help more people than we were a year ago
Yeah,
by implementing our systems,
100%.
having organization within what we're doing. We're getting better at our roles,
Yeah,
which is gonna make us more well-rounded,
yeah,
and to be able to provide that experience for clients.
yeah,
It's one thing to say it.
yeah.
It's another thing to execute it and continue investing in it. And I think we've talked about it. We don't shy from the amount of trainings that we are investing in.
No.
We're investing a lot of money back right into the business
Yeah,
to go on these trainings, do these Zoom trainings, do weekly trainings,
yeah.
whether it's your operations classes or
Mhm.
your, the next trainings that I'm signed up for database and
Yeah,
different prospecting and,
yeah.
the current trainings that we're in. It's like constantly reinvest, reinvest, reinvest. How do we implement it? How do we
Mhm.
take the training? How do we allow for that time? And then how do we apply it
Yep,
towards our day to day business? And
yep.
it's just going to make us better, but it's also going to make for those that want to join our team as we go
Yeah,
into growth mode during the fall and winter.
yeah,
Um, they're going to see the culture that we're providing, the things we're doing, and the success we're having by having these systems in place and understanding the overall experience with clients. I'm jacked up. Like the traction that we
Yeah.
have going right now and the trajectory,
Mhm.
the opportunities are endless. It's
Yeah.
all what we do with it.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't want it to be focused on how many.
Yeah.
It's who do we get to help and how can we help them at the highest level?
Yep.
And all the other stuff and the referrals and the family and friends, that's all gonna
Mhm.
come
Mhm.
because they're gonna go, man, when Billy and Sarah, like when we worked with them and their team and this is what they did and with their
So true.
transaction coordinator and
Yeah.
with Bell, like all of it, all of that is just gonna be compounded because if you can make that experience, it's just gonna get better and the
Yep.
referrals will come and the business will come and the agents will come and people will
Mhm.
wanna be a part of what we're doing.
Mhm.
So we're up and coming. We're
Yeah.
small and mighty right now. And,
Small and mighty. I like
it's
it.
one of those I cannot express how excited I am for what this year has in store.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
on behalf of the business and behalf of the people that we're gonna get to help,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a fun ride.
Yeah. It is. It really is. I'm very excited. And I'm excited to the things that like we're learning and trying to implement.
Yep.
Like and the things that we know we want to implement, but we just don't have enough bandwidth yet to implement. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm really excited. Yeah. We have some really good trainings coming up that oh my gosh, it's gonna like change the business.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
it's gonna change us and I'm very excited about it. Yeah.
Heck yes.
It's gonna be
Well,
good.
I'm excited to be able to do it with you and,
Heck yeah.
as we grow together and learning our roles,
Yeah.
uh, well, we got a bright future ahead.
Mhm.
So,
The growing pains are real.
mm,
It's worth it though.
they are. They are.
All right, y'all. You know the drill. Go like, subscribe, comment, all the things. Go follow us. If you want to hang out with us, let me know. Y'all literally like I like want people to message and just be like, "Hey, can I pop by the office and just say hey?" Like
Swing by.
swing by the office, say hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just want to create a community where we're just open door. We're here for everybody, and yeah, we love everyone.
Yep.
It's a good time.
That's
If you
right.
can't tell, we're a good time.
That's right.
All right, y'all. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and thanks for watching.
Yeah.